Hey folks, today is Friday, March 24th, 2023. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino, here to talk about all the video game news that has been going on this week. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. I'm in a different location, obviously. I am here for PAX East 2023 in Boston, Massachusetts. First time back at a video game convention in a while. Gonna play some games, and it feels good to be back. Also, speaking of feeling good, I am a man of my word. Last Friday's show, I had the double down from KFC. What happened at a double down? It sucks now. Like, they changed the formula or something. Anyway, I got the Diablo beta code. So, again, I did it. I don't feel good, but hey. Anyway, with all that, we got a lot of stuff to talk about in the news, so let's just jump right in. It's been a while since we've highlighted a story where it's like, oh, cool new video game graphics tech. And thankfully, we got a lot of stuff, specifically from GDC, the Game Developers Conference. A lot of developer side announcements, with the biggest thing being Epic taking to the stage to talk Unreal. Their State of Unreal event highlighted features with Unreal Engine 5, specifically Unreal Engine 5.2, and we got a bunch of juicy, good-looking things. The biggest thing for me, the coolest thing, was a new trailer for Hellblade. Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga, whatever you want to call it. This trailer is specifically centered around metahuman face technology, and we have kind of almost like the actress kind of getting into gear and turning on the Senua, and it's just insane, wild capture that is really creepy but graphically impressive, and just a really cool trailer because it's a cool bit of dialogue, but then it cuts away at the end and just shows the actress, and it's just a cool little behind the scenes look, and it's just really impressive tech. We're almost at the point now, I feel like, where we're getting away from the uncanny valley, but still it's kind of there, but I can't tell for sure because I just think Senua is like really creepy. We also got like an Unreal Engine 5 focused new trailer for Lords of the Fallen, and it's very shiny and very cool looking. You know, it's kind of just a regular graphical showcase type trailer, but another one was for Project M. This is one we haven't seen from in a while, and this is a very flashy, high concept one, but it's still just cool to hear from this project again, you know? Then in terms of like the tech and toolset side, I don't play Fortnite. I know a lot of you guys don't either, but this stuff is really impressive. The Fortnite editor, they showed off new capabilities for it, and it is absolutely wild. Players can kind of jump in from the Fortnite client and start building whatever they want, using Fortnite assets to create new things, change lighting, manipulate everything, even the environment, and just totally make wild shit, change lighting of things. It's pretty crazy, and they showed off what you could do, and it's nuts. But not only that, it can get even deeper, like you can import meshes and stuff like that, so it can start casual, and you can get really crazy with it. And other people can jump in and join you in making your games, which is even crazier because they can do it from other platforms. They can just join in on your Fortnite editor session, really. And that is really impressive stuff. Like, that's crazy. But the biggest thing was kind of like a big walkthrough of Unreal Engine 5.2 and some of the new features showcased. Now, they kind of doubled down and reiterated what they talked about last time with improved foliage, looking really good as they took like a rendered Rivian truck and drove it through a jungle. It looks incredible, but they also took the time to highlight substrate. This is like a new material framework, and they showed this off specifically by changing the car from being like painted metal to opal. So you get to see all the intricacies and the different layers and how the light refracts in real time. And I'm a layman, it just seems really cool to me. I'm like, whoa. But along with that, they also showed new procedural generation stuff. They called it specifically new procedural generation that is artist driven. I think because there's so much talk around artificial intelligence now and it kind of taking the art, the work away from artists. What they have here is procedural generation tools, which games have had for a long time. I mean, like, we've had algorithms and procedural generation build us trees and forests in Oblivion, I remember. But what we have here is kind of like a developer inputting commands and letting like things be procedurally generated with an algorithm, but then having enough of the tool sets and ways to manipulate everything and really kind of put a personal touch on it. So it's a lot of procedural generation, but with a whole layer of tools to really give it the human touch, which that's what I like to see. Ultimately, what this seems to be designed to do is just make it easier for developers to make stuff and make it a little quicker. And all this stuff is absolutely stunning looking, but we always say it, you might not immediately see this in the next big Xbox or PlayStation game or what have you, but overall, it is helping make games a little easier, and specifically for someone just messing around on their home computer, a budding developer, or a small indie studio with a limited budget. If it helps them make something cool and crazy faster and more efficiently, then I guess that just means more cool games. Now, next up, real quick, we got a little bit of an update with the whole Xbox, Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard thing. The UK regulatory body or agency, the CMA, has essentially put out a new provisional statement seemingly lightening the whole thing. Analysts and video game industry people are looking at this one and kind of thinking, okay, this deal's probably gonna go through, but this still isn't the final word. We keep getting these little updates, and this one specifically is them saying that they are officially narrowing their scope of concerns with Microsoft. The statements are, new evidence provisionally alleviates concerns in relation to supply of gaming consoles in the UK. Previously stated provisional view that deal raises concerns in cloud gaming unaffected, but the investigation continues with final report still due by April 26, 2023. So that's pretty soon. We knew that date was coming for a while. The narrowing of scope, specifically around Call of Duty, seems to be interesting, and people on, I guess, Team Microsoft are hopeful that this is going to happen at this point. And this is the big hurdle. It's the UK regulatory body. It's one of a few. So this will kind of definitely point in a good direction, like where this deal is actually going to land. Still, at this point, I just can't wait for this stuff to wrap up. I just want to know what the deal is at this point. Now, in some other news, thanks to a rumor we talked about a few weeks ago from Richard Lewis, an esports journalist, he was right. His reporting was correct. Counter-Strike 2 is officially a real thing announced by Valve. Drop the go. It's cleaner. Terrible joke. Awful. But yeah, Counter-Strike 2 is a thing, and they revealed it in, you know, very typical Valve weird fashion, just out of the blue and with like a couple of little trailer breakout drops centered around different things, specifically how maps are going to work, how new ones, old ones, and older ones are going to be changed or kept the same. So I think Counter-Strike fans are going to have more of an opinion on that than I am. Also, their new smoke grenade tech and how volumetric fog is going to work. So the fog is going to behave more realistically and therefore more unpredictable, which should be pretty cool. And also a whole breakout talking about tick rate and how the whole thing has been overhauled. So essentially expect a more responsive shooting game where you know what's going to happen and less up to some bullshit and then you get mad. That's my layman's way of describing it, but let me know how you think if you're a Counter-Strike fan. Because as of right now, we know this is going to be a Source Engine 2 game and it is coming summer 2023. So expect this summer, out of obligation, me probably doing a before you buy for this game, having no experience, and the gameplay is probably going to be terrible and you guys are going to hate me. I apologize in advance, okay? But I'm going to try my best. Hey, now, have you heard about Vessi? By now you probably should have, because they're a longtime sponsor of the channel. These have been the go-to dependable kicks that we've been recommending for years now. Whether you're wearing them for work or outdoors or just chilling, Vessi's got you covered with a bunch of different styles and colors. They're sustainably made, they're vegan, but the biggest thing is that they're 100% waterproof. This is thanks to the dual knit climate Dymatex. It makes it feel like it's not a waterproof shoe, just a regular old sneaker. But it manages to keep you waterproof and cool in the summer and warm in the winter. Especially considering right now in New York, last week it like snowed and now today it's like 65 degrees. So these things keep you prepared for whatever season, whatever climate, whatever adventure. And they're lightweight, comfy, and stretchy and grippy. So while they are great for a bunch of use cases, at the end of the day, they're just easy and dependable, make your feet feel nice. Over the years now, at this point, whatever type of person you are, Vessi's got you covered with a bunch of different varieties. So you should definitely go check them out. Click the link in the description below or go on screen here. It's vessi.com/gameranx. And when you find your shoe, you find your size, be sure to use code gameranx to get 15% off your entire